Bookho's, and welcome to another episode of Bookhoarding by Bianca, doing stuff for the Great Costube Sew-Off, aka the May challenge, which, like, first of all, how is it already May? I feel like I'm still in March.
It's gonna be May.
Okay. Anyway, we're in May, and that means that it's time for the UFO challenge, which is the Unfinished Object Challenge. Are you ready?
Am I making a thing?
We'll find out. Okay, so I decided to choose for UFO the cool vest that I actually made Frank a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away that I never finished the fastenings for. And I feel like fastenings and finishings are like the bane of most sewists' like lives, whether it's zippers or buttons or whatever. Even grommets, like finishing the things that actually will go on your body is maybe the worst part of a garment.
If I learned anything from Project Runway, it's if you could just have somebody sew you into all your clothes, everything would be better.
Yeah. If folks haven't joined the Great Costube Sew-Off, check out my description and I have info on how to join. I held it for the last few months, but if you didn't participate through March, April, or May, you can definitely do any of the challenges over the summer and just let me know and I can add you to the playlist. Here is some beautiful bean footage of how I went about making the finishings for your vest. Okay, so here it is. It is actually my husband's vest. And I like hand did a ton of stuff and I just need to do the buttonholes, but I haven't done the buttonholes because I am terrible about finishings. But the whole reason I'm in fashion school is to learn how to do things better and to actually finish projects. So, that being said, I think that my UFO, because it needs to be done, is this beautiful brocade and lined and like hand finished. Like, look at this. Look at the back of it. It's so pretty. I need to finish it so that he can have it to wear it. And yes. So I think this will be my Great Costube Sew-Off signature, which will be to finish the buttons. Like, look, I did welt pockets. I did welt pockets for the first time on these. Are they great? No. They're not. I will finish this project. Anyway, I think this will be my project because I want to I want to finish it because I worked really hard on it and it's really nice and it's really nice material. And also because, like, I want him to be able to wear it. Okay, so we used Laughing Moon 125. It's the Georgian men's vest. You can see the pattern here. If you've never used Laughing Moon, they're really, really good, but they probably aren't a great starter pattern. FYI, here's the cover button kit that I just got from Joanne, and then I'm going to use the back lining fabric for it. This blue linen. I'm trying to show it off cam there, but anyway, it comes with this cute little stencil for how much you need for the buttons, and I don't recommend this for thicker fabrics, if I'm being honest. I feel like it just didn't work super well, or stiff fabrics. IDK. It wasn't the best experience. So yeah, you're just gonna draw around these and cut them out. I used a fabric pen because it's just easier for me. I think I linked to it in my description and the stuff. But anyway. You cut a bunch of these out and then, like, you put these according to what the pattern says, how many you need, etc. So this is super fast footage of me trying to do this. It was really tough and not great. So you just kind of use the plastic bottom thing, you pop the fabric in there, and then the rounded piece, and then you just try to, like, push it really hard. And I used a book to try to help me. And there's a little diagram on the back telling you how to do this. And then it's hard to get out. You can see it, like, flies away. And then it's still not quite in there. I eventually started using, like, a little hammer that I have to try to hammer that blue thing in a little bit more, just because these were not working very well at all. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get a million people telling me how I should have done this. Too late. I've already done this, so doesn't help me. Anyway, I would say that this is probably going to be better for somebody who's not using as thick or as stiff material, but this was kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. Okay, I have made buttons and I have not died. I made them. They're finally ready and done. And I finally, after A, years of having sewing machines that could do this, and B, months of having to sit around, have finally taken the plunge and used the sewing machine's like buttonhole thing to actually make some practice buttonholes. So I used some scrap fabric and made some little buttonholes, and they look good, look great. So I'm going to film the kind of setting that up so that you might know how to do that. But I think I'm mostly annoyed at myself for never just doing this. Like, this is so easy. Why do I struggle? Like, I hand-did buttonholes for like the cape I did recently and like so many things, and I could have just done this. Like, I don't, why? Well, here's to more self-discovery and suffering as I continue my journey to try to get this vest done after so many months. Like, I think I'm gonna get it done today, but I just don't know why this was like a thing. That like mentally, I had like a mental block to finish this. Okay, let's do this. So every machine is going to have a different way of doing this, but you can see here that mine has a foot attachment. That's where we start. And then you can see that I'm trying to mess with it and align things. So basically, you're going to put your button in that little back part. This is for the brother machine that I have, obviously. You're going to pop the button in there, and then that's going to magically adjust, I guess, this magical foot sensor stuff that's in the bottom. I don't know. I guess, like, the sewing machine just comes with, like, perception at 20 always. So yeah, then you're going to pop that back on. And like, if you have space behind the sewing machine, I guess you could put the button on after. So then you're going to slide that up and pull that little button thing down. Again, this is specific to my machine. And then you're going to let it go, and it's going to just hit that. Then you're going to select your buttonhole that you want to make. And again, please test this out. Test it out on, like, you know, obviously a couple layers of fabric. All those things, get used to it, get an idea of like how this is going to work, test it with your buttons on scrap fabric just to make sure that it is going to be the right size and all that good stuff. And then you just go. This is the kind of magic. So yeah, you just like hold your foot on the pedal. Again, this is for my machine. You put your foot on the pedal and just go until it stops. Then you take your foot off the pedal and then it's done. Magic. It's kind of mesmerizing. You can see here it just kind of stops. That's it. And then I have magic cut machine cutting button I can touch, and then it's good, and you're done. You can test it. The way that I did this was I pushed the awl through, because there's kind of a little circle at the end of these. So I pushed the awl through that to make a little hole for myself, and I snuck a seam ripper in there, and it's off camera. I'm so sorry. It's a little off camera. But I basically use a seam ripper and, you know, obviously just seam rip up to the final lines of your buttonhole, and there you go. Look at that. And you can trim those extra threads inside. But that's it. That's what you do. It's magic. And then I, you know, had to hand sew these buttons on. So here I am in bed, making some like 4-ply thread, which is like, you do 2 layers of thread through the needle and then do the thing. Anyway, you don't need to watch me thread a needle. The point is that you need to wax this stuff. You need to make sure that like it's tied off, and you need to, you know, put your buttons on. There are actual tutorials on this. I am just a fashion student. I am just a student. I am but a student. Go forth and find real tutorials and teachers on this thing. Overall, this was kind of cool, fairly easy, and yeah, like I'm totally sold on putting the buttonholes in with a machine, but I'm not sold on these buttons themselves. It is done. It's now wearable.
Yeah.
Versus not having any fastenings. So my key takeaways and wins from this are that I learned finally to use the button foot, the automatic button thing on my machine, and I finally used like a little self fabric button maker. I think the downsides of this are that I don't love the self-made button thing. We already have had some buttons just like pop off of their casings, essentially, like the casing kind of pop off of the base. So I either need to redo them or maybe add a little bit of glue to them, I feel like.
Oh, there's fancier, better self-made button things we can do. We're going to do a lot of these.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like I use one of the things we just grabbed from Joann that has all the stuff in it, and they're fine, but I just feel like for like things that are going to actually have pressure or are going to be used a ton or be moved against, because I'm like, if you were wearing this for like a ball or something, you'd be moving against that a ton, and I can just see those popping right off because of our experience with that. So I'm glad that's done, but I will say using the button maker thing was not a great experience. I think it's fine for like if they're not
functioning.
Yeah, if they're non-functioning buttons, I feel like it might be actually really cool and really easy to just be like, yeah, look at all these cool decorative buttons, but for something like this that's going to be really fiddly and they're going to need to do a ton of, I don't recommend.
I also think that, given how hard they've been to put back on, that it seems like they might be made for like thinner fabric, but I can't imagine, I don't know, when I think of these kind of fabric top buttons, it's always on like thicker outerwear, so I don't even know, other than like, I've seen like, you know, your wedding dress had buttons kind of like this. There was like a thin satin, but I feel like if that's the primary use case for those, that's much more niche. Like, they just seem like, we have to be able to get higher quality ones somewhere, right?
Yeah, and like, this is like a linen, like, it's not like
it's not that bad. It's not even the brocade.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan, and it's also one of those things where I'm just like, I mean, obviously with this brocade and everything, we probably weren't going to machine wash it anyway, but it's also one of those things that precludes it from being machine washable, which is like our favorite thing about costuming and stuff, and getting stuff, as you've seen in Frank's video about like budget costuming and everything, getting into like the masculine historical silhouettes. Like, we really like budget stuff because sometimes you just need that.
I will never dry clean anything because I'm cheap. And lazy. If somebody gives us a dry clean at home thing to test, we'll give it a shot.
We've tried those. We tried it on your wedding suit.
Oh, no. I meant like one of those like machines that you see at like a Best Buy where you just like slide your shirt in and it dry cleans like one white men's dress shirt at a time.
That doesn't feel...
It doesn't seem super useful. I would never pay money for it. But like I said, I'll try it.
Anyway, I'm glad to finally have this done. How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty good about it. I think it's really amazing that you were able to like do all this really fancy fabric that I bought like a long time ago, because I was like, one day I'll do it, and I was like, I'm too scared to cut it.
Editing Bianca here to say that my desktop ate the rest of that footage, but the TLDR is that I got it done and my hair is not yet dyed because I'm literally leaving on a road trip tomorrow. But you know what? I still want to get this video out because it's still a great costume sew-off month. Thank you everyone who has participated. I'm sorry that my re-recorded thank you is not as like beautiful and eloquent as the one that I previously recorded and is now gone into the ether of my computer. Anyway, I'm stoked to have this done, and I'm ready to do some more Regency stuff this summer, especially because now the Bridgerton thing is coming to my city. So if you're in San Francisco and want to go, let me know so we can like figure out a date for everyone to go. Oh my god, my eyeshadow's coming off. Anyway, I need to go sleep because I have one more final left and I need to pack. But thank you all for watching this. I hope you had fun with a great costume sew-off, and if you're interested in me doing it again, let me know. Bye! Major shout out to my patrons. Without you, none of this would happen. Please check out my Patreon, link in the description, or leave me a tip on my coffee. How could I forget the most important thing about my video, which is thank you for joining me, and don't forget to make it so.